um, an attack on indigenous people. The European portray them as savages and things like that, just to justify their assault on their lives and the theft of their land. No, they were free people enjoying themselves. But they had, since they suffered the same fate as African people, they didn't have a state for permanent warfare. They did not need it. You heard the chairman speaking about the Indians, how they related to each other, how they had democracy. So basically, they had the control of their lives. So that is a word they lost, and they lost it in a serious way because the entire population was wiped out. And that's the influence of Columbus. So Columbus got there in 1492, and began genocide of indigenous people. And you have to know or remember that most indigenous people were not immune against the diseases brought to the Americas by Europeans. Whenever you got time, you can just Google for yourself to see history of epidemic or diseases in Europe, history of famines in Europe. You'll be amazed. The level, the frequency of diseases and also a famine in Europe. Because so when they go to Americas, they carry their germs with them, and people from Americas did not have a defense, immune defense against that. And Columbus enslaved them and began to strip the island of its natural resources, sending them to Spain. So you are on a mission to discovery, but the only thing that's evident, the only thing that's obvious, is that people are dying, and the boats from Spain are being filled with loot, gold, and other resources. So the Taino welcomed Columbus and helped him survive. As you know, most of the oppressed people, indigenous people, welcomed white people. These are the strange people, these are the foreign people, and they welcomed them. You know, this is what we have. They shared, they look after them. But there is a magazine the chairman was showing me the other day. Within 5 years, 90% of the indigenous people died. Within 5 years of a meeting with Europe, 90% of indigenous population disappeared. That's a serious geological biological warfare. So we can send them here in the name of the Holy Trinity, and the old slave and Brazil wood which could be sold. Here we're talking about the consequence of Europeans being in Americas, being in Haiti, and as we said, most of the population died within 5 years, and those who survived of diseases, from Europe, they died in the mines. Because the first thing they did, the Europeans were only concerned about wealth, what they can loot. So they forced the indigenous people to work in the mines, and that's where they died. You know, they can't see, any friendship or any freedom or anything like that, because Europeans like to talk about freedom. They did not bring freedom. They brought terror. They brought nightmare, murders, killings in Haiti. Columbus men raped and tortured and slaughtered the Taino people. You know, every time you hear the leaders of imperialist countries, when they speak about oppressed people, remember what they say? They protecting their way of life. What is the way of life? That is the way of life of imperialism. You know, slaughter. They brought trained dogs. So dogs were trained to attack the indigenous people and rip out their intestines. You know, Christopher Columbus, the first day he came to America, he wrote in his book, in his diary, he said, being in Hispaniola Island, it's like being where? in a paradise. Just imagine. He never seen anything like this before. People are friendly because there is no war in paradise, right? So people are friendly. Food, of all kind of food you never seen before. You never seen tomatoes, sweet potatoes, all these kind of things. So he believes if there's a paradise, you reach the paradise. That's a hell of a statement there. Columbus named Haiti Hispaniola, Little Spain, as usual. In 1697, Spain ceded the western third of the island to France. You have to realize that from 1492, the Spanish looted it. But in the process of looting the Americas, every single place in Europe, people began to organize to be part of the looting expeditions. So starting with the Portuguese and the Spanish, and the word went out throughout Europe. There is a place there where you can loot, you can get rich. So people in England, people in France, people in Holland, they all began to organize, creating what they call pirates, and going to the sea, waiting for the loots to come from Americas to Europe, attack it, and take their parts. And that's the way France joined in. First by attacking the Spanish vessels or ships coming from Americas, and then they were able themselves to come to Americas. And France grew cotton, indigo, tobacco, cocoa on the huge plantations in Haiti. And the period of France ruled over Haiti, Haiti came to be known as the Pearls of Antilles. The Pearl of Antilles. Because 3/4 of the wealth that went to France, that built France during that period, came from Haiti. Because you probably seen many times the news referring to Haiti as the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, things like that. But they don't say that throughout the 17th century and the 18th centuries, most of the wealth that built France came from Haiti. That was the work stolen from Africans in Haiti. And Haiti during that time produced something like 40% of the sugar that was consumed in the world came from Haiti. And more than 60% of the cocoa that was consumed during that time, basically in the wild world, I suppose, was coming from Haiti. France achieved this colonial wealth by enslaving African people who they worked to death within 7 years. You really have to know the brutality of French colonialism in Haiti. I want to read you something here from, I have it here. These, let me put it here. This is coming from Henry Christophe, who played a role in a struggle to defeat French colonizers in Haiti. And he was explaining why they have to do what they did. He explained, have they not hung up men with heads downwards, drowned them in sacks, crucified them on planks, buried them alive, crushed them in mortars? Have they not forced them to consume feces? And having flayed, how you pronounce this? F-L-A-Y-E-D. Having flayed them with the slash, have they not cast them alive to be devoured by worms or onto ant eels, or lashed them to stakes in the swamp to be devoured by mosquitoes? Have they not thrown them into boiling cauldrons of cane syrup? Have they not put men and women inside barrels studded with spikes and rolled them down mountainside into the abyss? Have they not consigned these miserable blacks to man-eating dogs until the later, sorted by human flesh, left the mangled victims to be finished off with bayonets and poignards? That's Henry Christophe. For people who are saying the revolutionaries. Yeah, yeah, you know. So by the late 700s, more than 5,000 Africans per year were brought to Haiti under the most brutal conditions. And yeah, next one, please.
That's 50,000.
Yeah, 50,000. Yeah. By the end of 18th centuries, 500,000 enslaved Africans in Haiti, and only 30,000 French. Under these conditions, rebellions of Africans grew. You know, we're going to talk about the African revolution in Haiti, but the amount of rebellions is just huge. A lot. When I was trying to go through that history, I came across rebellions after rebellions, really a lot, particularly in the 700 when they introduced what they call large scale. You know, the way the history is taught, you know how our children hate history of slavery of African people? I remember my son, when he came, in fact, my son doesn't like history. It's only now that I'm able to engage him. But when he went to school, he did not like history. And he didn't want to hear anything about enslavement of Africans. And he's not the only one. Most of the Africans in London, I know, they didn't like that. So the point I want to make is that they say, you know, slavery in Haiti, but Karl Marx said it's slavery that gives the colonies the values. So it's basically, you can have all this mass of land, but it's the work of the Africans that gave the colonies values. And it's the colonies, the work in the colonies that was the basis for large-scale industry. Today you talk about having Walmart, being big place, big shop, all these companies, you know, Exxon, all these companies, yeah, massive companies. But what's the basis? How can small Europe with no economy was able to create large-scale industries? It started there in the colonies, during slavery. For the first time, they were able to have large-scale industry. You can travel for miles. You only see just African working plantation after plantation producing the same thing like sugar or cocoa. That's at the basis of that. Of course, that means extreme violence. You know, it's not just plantation, it's extreme violence. Colonization, slavery, that's what it means. Extreme violence. As we say many times, nothing comes out of our oppressed people peacefully. Everything comes through extreme violence. So rebellions of African people grew. Africans organized and armed themselves for freedom. Thousands of Maroons liberated territory in Haiti's mountains, made raids on plantation. The French could not, in fact, in Haiti, what is clear, the French never had a response to put down the Maroons. They were never to put down the Maroons. And that contributed in the growth of armed African men and women later on. But we come to that. Taking up the domains of the French Revolution, Africans launched the first rebellion of the Haitian Revolution. Before we talk about that, I want to just mention one thing. There is a leader in Haiti, his name is Macandal. That is a survival of African name. It's Macandala. That's the name you find in the Congo. Macandal, he organized Africans, particularly those who were close to the oppressors, basically. And the decision was for everyone who works in a house and places like that to poison the master. And they started in 1758, and it was going well. The masters were dying, and they couldn't work out why they're dying, but they were dying. Of course, I don't know if there's always somebody who has a stake because, you know, they see the same interest, the interest of the oppressor as theirs interest. Somebody betrayed that. But 1,000 of, you know, many basically slave masters died. And Macandal was arrested, and his followers also were arrested, and they were executed. They put them on the stakes. And during the Haitian Revolution in 1804, from 1791 to 1804, the spirit of Mackandal was called for. We're doing this in the spirit of Mackandal. So, although it was not there, but they maintained that spirit of martyrdom, the spirit of those who sacrificed. And in fact, that tradition was maintained of poisoning not just the slave masters, but the white colonial population. Instead of using always, they say if we use the guns, it makes a noise, they will know what's going on. But when you use poison, nobody knows. It's just quiet. So, also in 1791, before that, just 2 years ago, before that, the French Revolution just happened in 1789. And the French, in 1791, they passed what they call the Declaration of Universal Declaration of the Right of Man, as they call it. And in that declaration, when it was proclaimed in France, you had representation from what they call free blacks, as they call them, and free mulattoes. And in that, basically, the French that had what they called the third estate. You familiar with that? The third estate. Basically, you had the nobility. Put it this way: 1789, the French just made the revolution. But when they made that revolution, 1789, the king is not overthrown yet. He's not killed. The nobility has lost power. So the bourgeoisie is doing with the king. So the king is there, but his power is gone. Now, they had what they call third estate, which means the nobility, the bourgeoisie, and the clergy, all of them come together. So they say, this is, they use the word the nation, Chairman. They say, this is the nation. Because before that, the king ruled France by divine power. But now that the king is there, but he doesn't have the power, the bourgeoisie is there, and some representative of the nobility, they call that the nation. We are all together, but the bourgeoisie has the power. So they made a declaration of the right of the man. That declaration basically resonated in Haiti because free blacks from Haiti and the free mulattoes, as they call them, were represented in that situation. And because the French Revolution process resonated in Haiti, it created problems for the slave colonial administration in Haiti. Because now there's these new ideas of freedom, and also you have now free blacks and free mulattoes who are fighting for the right to be part of that colonial state, to be recognized. And also, between that time, the French and the Spain and the Spanish, they're fighting for the control of the island. Remember, they're always fighting for who's going to control the island. Not just Haiti, that's Saint Vincent, Saint Lucia, all these islands. One time the French took it. 5 years later, the British took it. 5 years later, the French took it again. It was constant like that. Now, what happened during this fight for who's going to control Haiti? The Spanish, or you must say, made a mistake. They accepted the West Africans to fight on their side. They say, we'll allow you to be free if you join us. But this begins to give Africans access to military, to weapons, and things like that. And people like Louverture and others benefited from that by being able to be in the army. And also the British also invaded Haiti. And the British also made the same promise. So within this contradiction among themselves, it seems like that the weapons became available to Africans in that island. And it turned out to be decisive at some point. In 1798, formerly enslaved Toussaint Louverture led an African army that defeated the British invasion. So you're talking about the Africans who have been having access to military training since 1791, because 1798 is a decisive time they fought against the British, but you've been having attacks on particular areas from 1791 until 1798. Haiti was not the same. It was a constant fight happening in one area or another. Toussaint Louverture became the ruler of the entire Iceland and abolished slavery, but it did not declare independence from France. And you go remember that until 92, the French king is not beheaded yet. He's still there. And so the Africans who are fighting for freedom, they have not come to the conclusion yet that we need to create our own republic of Haiti, freed from France. What they're fighting for is just the end of slavery, but we are coming to the conclusion we need to create our own state. They're not coming to that conclusion yet. And in 18, basically, another thing the French Revolution did, there were contradictions. On one side, with the Declaration of Universal Declaration of Right of Man, they also declared that the slavery is ended. Now, within that period of the French Revolution, between the Declaration of Declaration of Right of Man, you had the king being killed. Louis XVI is killed. Now, you have a period of transition that will lead to Napoleon seizing power. And then Napoleon seizes power. He basically wants to reverse the decision that was taken in the French National Assembly that abolished slavery. Even when I say they abolished slavery, the colonial administration in Haiti never agreed. So it's a decision taken far in Paris, but right there in Haiti, no, they will not implement it. Even they sent a delegation to go to France to say what's wrong with people in Paris. So they went there and came back. And then Napoleon comes to power, and the first thing is all these, progressive thrusts that came with the French Revolution, the Enlightenment, as they call it, human rights for everybody, and they correct you straight away because we know that the French Revolution was funded by the southern level of Africans, because the bourgeoisie is a creation of the enslavement of African people. There is nothing else. That created the basis for all struggles for democratic right in Europe. That's why Europeans, when they refer to capitalism, they say it was progressive. What they meant that every single country in Europe must move from feudalism to bourgeois democratic revolution. And that the basis of it is enslavement of Africans and genocide of indigenous people and so on. That was the basis of bourgeois democracy. Now the Africans want to be free, and our freedom is basically overturning the colonial relationship we have, which basically means a threat to the existence of the bourgeoisie. So the bourgeoisie, after a few years of a revolutionary struggle, they came to the sense that they have to maintain Haiti as it is. So Napoleon sent, 30,000, but other documents I've been looking at it, they're talking about 40,000 troops. So we're going to check that later on. So they're saying Napoleon sent his best troops. You really have to realize this. The French Revolution was not just the overthrow of the nobility. It was also the rise in technology and science. The French saw themselves as at the cutting edge of technology and science. They saw themselves as invincible in Europe. Nobody could beat them. That's how they saw it, because they were leading in science and technology. So the army of Napoleon was the most modern, advanced army you can find on the planet. So when they say they sent the army, it was an army that was still in warfare. Remember, the French Revolution has to defend itself from the nobility. You heard the chairman talking about when the working class seizes power, they need a state of their own. Why? To defend the revolution against the bourgeoisie. Imperialists will not leave you alone because you won your freedom. They have to reimpose a colonialism. The same way the nobility throughout Europe did not accept the French Revolution. They want to crush it, but you can't work against history. So Napoleon, French army, steeled itself in warfare against everybody in Europe. And since they were winning everywhere, they sent the best troops, the best general, Leclerc, and the Rochambeau, they sent them to Haiti to restore slavery. And within that period, of course, the French were unable to win. And one of the reasons the French couldn't win, why? Louverture and his generals, two of them is Dessalines and Henri Christophe. They were using what? Guerrilla warfare. And the French army was not trained in guerrilla warfare. They were trained to do conventional warfare. So they come to Haiti, no conventional warfare, just guerrilla warfare. Attack and move, small group, attack and move. And Napoleon troops, they come with their horses and big guns and in big numbers. Here we are, we're going to, it couldn't work. So sometimes the French historians tend to play down the defeat of Napoleon troops. They're saying the fever, well, they brought a fever in the first place that killed indigenous people. If that was the same fever, it was waiting for them. So what basically happened, they could not win. Napoleon's army was defeated. And Toussaint, instead of going to complete victory, he was listening to French demand of negotiations to come to settlements. Because remember, the intention was to end slavery. They were not fighting for yet to have a republic, black republic state in Haiti. So Toussaint Louverture agreed to have a meeting on a ship, a French ship basically. And he was told by Dessalines and others, don't go. But he didn't listen to his comrades. And as soon he go to that boat, they sailed straight to France. And they took him to northern France, where they imprisoned him in a, what do you call it, when you dig a hole? What do you call it, the pit? He's a prison underneath, under the earth. And in a cold, they put him in a cold place, and he died of cold. So he developed pneumonia, and he died of it. And Toussaint was replaced by Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And Jean-Jacques Dessalines was hated by the French. The French historians hate him. They don't like Dessalines. Dessalines had a slogan. He said, "Coupe tête, brûler caille." Say it again. Coupe tête, brûler caille. It means cut the head off, burn all the houses. So Jean-Jacques Dessalines didn't mess about. He anticipated the attack on the Port-au-Prince. And they anticipated when the French will attack Haiti, he burned the place to the ground. So the French, when they can't use nothing. They will be on the open, so they can they can attack them. And Dessalines was calling for not just the French army to be defeated, to be killed, but he's calling for the colonial population to be killed. And that's explain why one reason the French hate Dessalines, because he did not spare the colonial population. Because as far as he was concerned, there was no peaceful colonial population. The whole colonial population is military. It's like the Israel state. There is no pacifist Israel population. It's a militarized population. And Dessalines was thinking like that. And Haiti, when we say Haiti became, where are you now? Yeah, that's Dessalines. Yep. Next one. Yeah. When we say Haiti became Napoleon's Vietnam, the impact of Vietnam? Vietnam shook the whole imperialist world. Oppressors and oppressed alike. If Vietnamese can do it, all of us can do it and should do it. And the armed struggle against colonialism became like the mode. Everyone wants to engage in the military warfare against colonialism. Because of the victory of the African Revolution in Haiti, the whole system of colonial slavery came into attack. Everywhere throughout the Americas, every oppressed wants to be free. And basically, that's true. That was the, what you call it, Dien Bien Phu. That was the Vietnamese, the Vietnam of their time. 26,000 French troops were killed by the African revolutionaries or died of yellow fever, which the Africans used as a weapon of war. Napoleon then sent his brutal general Rochambeau, who began slaughtering the people. And you know, in Haiti, when they talk about slaughtering the people, what they meant in this case is beheading, putting the Africans on a spike, and then they will expose them. They expose the head on a stake like that. That's what the French were doing. Or one time, what Rochambeau did, he buried 500 Africans alive. And Dessalines took 500 whites, and also, basically, I'm not sure if he buried them alive as well, but he replicated. So you kill 500, we kill 500. That was Dessalines. Yeah, he hung them basically. Yeah, next slide. And that's really important because the more people know this story, the easy, the question of what we should do. We should know, instead of looking at people just in one way of struggling, waiting for the next lesson, you put all the possibilities on the table. You never remove the possibility of suppressing the violence of the oppressors. Where we know Dessalines and the Africans defeated the French army in November 1803. And on January the 1st, I always wonder why January the 1st, Brenda, but on January the 1st, Haiti was declared independence. And Dessalines and with his comrade came with a new constitution. And in that constitution, any oppressed who set foot on Haiti's soil will be protected by the state of Haiti. Any oppressed from anywhere. And that is a revolutionary commitment. You're talking about having an internationalist stand today. That's an example of internationalism. You never heard the white left in Europe or anywhere else, calling for any oppressed to get Europe is free. We will protect him. You don't see that. And all citizens, even Europeans, will be known as black. You had particularly white people from Poland because Napoleon's army, the more wars they made throughout Europe, they had all these allies. And some of the allies of Napoleon for France was the Polish people from Poland. And they came to fight in Haiti. And also, where they're coming from, the nobility was still in power. And the relationship of nobility in itself was strong. So some of these soldiers sympathized with the Africans and fought along the Africans and Dessalines. You can see how Dessalines worked. This somebody who does not take mercy from the colonizers, who treat the colonizers for what they were. But in the same time, is able to provide those who unite with the Haitian Revolution, with the African Revolution in Haiti, asylum basically. They say, you're white, you've been in the Napoleon army, but since you join us, you too can become black and join the black army. And no white person could own land in Haiti. That was a powerful element in that constitution. No oppressors. Think about Nelson Mandela and the ANC. The land belongs to all, we live on it. But you can see the Haiti disagree already before Mandela was born, that the land of Haiti belongs to the oppressed, those who till the land, the Africans who live there. And that constitution was overturned by the United States when they invaded Haiti between 1914 and 1935. And then do you know who wrote the constitution, who changed the constitutions? The president of the United States, the man who became the president. The white people love him so much. Franklin Roosevelt. He's the one. Franklin Roosevelt, he's the one when United States troops invaded Haiti that changed the constitution that the land of Haiti, anybody else, can be owner. And another aspect of that, early on, I was saying that the struggle of Haiti was so powerful that it changed the whole understanding of the struggle of the oppressed people in the world. People now knew that the oppressed can win. You know, when you're always oppressing people and nobody thinks you can't win ever, there's a different attitude. But when you, the oppressors, when your oppressors is convinced, at least becomes knowledgeable of the possibilities of the oppressed winning, that's the nightmare begins. These Africans, they can win. If they organize well, they can win. And that's what Haiti did, which means all the slave oppressors in the United States, in Brazil, everywhere else, they began to fear the Africans' revolt, uprisings. They didn't know if it would go all the way. You can't tell. Since in Haiti, we won. So Haiti changed all that. And we always said one of the direct consequences of the victory of Haiti was that the France, who used to own Louisiana, and they didn't have the means to maintain Louisiana anymore, that Napoleon was forced to sell Louisiana to the United States. And that's changed the size of the U.S. United States doubled in size almost overnight. That's a direct consequence of the victory of Haiti. And even the revolution we talked earlier on that happened in Louisiana, in New Orleans, that's also a consequence of the victory of the people, of the African people in Haiti. And then what happened now is that the French, in collaboration with the United States, the Dutch, the British, all of them, they agreed that nobody should allow the Haitis to be in trade, to be in doing commerce with anybody in the world, particularly in the Americas. And under a condition, they will allow Haiti to participate. Only if Haiti pay reparation, so to speak, compensation to France for loss of property. For losing Africans, for losing us, France has to be compensated. And they imposed on Haiti 150 million French francs in gold. And this has to be borrowed from the French banks. You heard about the IMF and the World Bank? It didn't start today. So Haiti has to borrow from France 150 million French francs. And these took 120 years to pay. And the payment ended only in 1947. So 120 years, Haiti could not do anything, could not develop, because everything we produced, we have to pay France. If we did not pay France, remember there was a blockade enforced by the United States, Spain, Britain, Dutch, and the French. All of them agreed, despite the differences, despite fighting among themselves, they have to maintain the blockade against Haiti. And that crippled Haiti. But you also have opportunists who don't talk about how Haiti produced all the wealth that built France. They only talk about the compensation Haiti paid to France. And they take that as a starting point. I notice many journalists, many publications in France, they say France should be ashamed of imposing Haiti to pay 150 million. They don't say France should be ashamed of enslaving anybody in the first place. You know, they don't say that. And as you know, France was not just involved in Haiti. France was involved in conquering other places. Vietnam is one of them that they turned into a drug colony. So it's the next one. Yeah. Next one. So here, France's wealth builds on slavery, genocide, opium forced on the people of Vietnam, 90 billion of gold stolen from the people of Haiti. Whenever we go to France, there are places we have not been before. I think we should go there. One place is what do you call it? It's not a house. It's a massive. When I say massive, I mean you can spend all day there. Massive compound, you might call it, where you've got canals, you've got place for lovers, you've got all kind of places you can imagine. And that was the second residence not the first, the second residence of the Prime Minister of Louis XIV. Louis XIV was the King of France. It's like the peak of French nobility, luxury, splendor, things like that. He built what they call Chateau de Versailles. And it's a place, if you want to see luxury, you have to go to Chateau de Versailles. And that's where we funded. That's where the wealth of Haiti produced. And the residence of Colbert is just unbelievable. I visited that last year. It's unbelievable that somebody can own that. And you go African statues everywhere. You can see African everywhere. Just showing them working, things like that. That's where that prime minister used to spend his time with his concubine and stuff like that. And as you know, France like to brag about that they are the one who brought what they call enlightenments to the world. And if visiting France, we help people see that. From 1804 to 1806, independent Haiti accepted 6,000 Africans escaping terror in the U.S. Can you see that? From 1824, 1826, any Africans, as is said in the Haiti constitutions, any African, any oppressed who set foot in Haiti is free. So the message went around the world. So 6,000 Africans running away from the United States ended up in Haiti, where they became free citizens of Black Republic of Haiti. Just imagine the hope it brought to the all oppressed people. Only if I can get to Haiti, only if we can organize like Haiti, just when you know there is a viable option for you, you will do anything for that viable option. So he created that possibility of winning, that hope that there is a way out. So he played a tremendous role. And this is the only workers' revolution that succeeded. Because the African nation, they're in Haiti, we all workers, so to speak. So a revolution there was a revolution of workers. Despite constant U.S. economic and political attacks, Haiti continued to have self-determination. That speaks to the resilience of the Africans, despite not having any significant ally to continue to stand for African self-determination. I want to speak about you heard a lot about the Bolivarian Revolution. Just like in the U.S., you had the British who stole the land. And we have the developed colonial administration, white people who settle here, because the United States is a settler colony. White people settle here. And at one point, the settler population decided there should be a transfer of power from the British to them. That should be the one controlling the colony. They should be the one basically running colonization here, not the British sitting away from here. So they call that process of taking power from the British, they call it U.S. Revolution in 76. So similar process also was developing in other parts of Americas. The white people who settled in Americas, the Spanish, they also believed that the power should not be in the hands of white Spanish in Europe, but the Spanish in Americas should be the one taking control of the colonies. So you have then Simon Bolivar, who was calling for a revolution. But his revolution was a revolution for the transfer of power from another sector of white people. But they asked for help from Haiti. And Haiti, the leaders of Haiti revolution, particularly General Pétain, say to them, we will support Bolivar's revolution. But what we want you to do is commit to freeing all enslaved Africans and anybody who is enslaved there. Bolivar agreed. But when they struck, they did not respect the bargain. They did not free the Africans. It took many more decades before Africans in a place like Venezuela to become freed, when the condition for Haiti to help Bolivar's revolution was you must end slavery. And that was the demand. That was the basis of unity. And if you look at it, that's what the party is saying. To all white people want to see the change, who call themselves revolutionary, whatever. We say two things. You go work on the leadership of the African Revolution, African Party, the APSP. And the struggle must be against the pedestal, right? Of Marxist capitalism. And you can see what the Africans saying then. You have to free the Africans from slavery. That's the bottom line. And Bolivar could not do that. So where are we next one? Oh, no, stop that one. The U.S. occupied Haiti very brutally from 1915 to 1934. In the face of ongoing people's resistance, the U.S. occupied with Marines, killed the people's leaders, set up neocolonialism, looted Haiti treasury, rewrote Haiti constitutions, ending the prohibition of white land ownership. So you can see the U.S., wherever they go, they have one agenda only, the agenda of aggression, looting, killing. The first thing they did, loot Haiti treasury. And you don't hear anybody saying that the United States need to pay reparation to Haiti for looting their treasury. The U.S., that's the time basically the U.S. began to set the basis for the leadership of Haiti, basically to become a pro-U.S. government. So that period between 15 and 34 term to be crucial. The U.S. maintained over control of Haiti treasury until 1947. This is why Haiti is the most impoverished in the Western Hemisphere. The U.S. set up and backed the murderous neocolonial leader, Francois Papadoc Duvalier, sitting here with Nelson Rockefeller. Duvalier is there, and Rockefeller is the guy there. And that's basically one of the general of the Tonton Macoute, I suppose. And Duvalier, that's neocolonialism. That's before even we talk about neocolonialism in Africa. Neocolonialism was already in full force in the Americas, and particularly in Haiti. And they have what we call the Tonton Macoute. Tonton Macoute were like state, basically the state, like the political state. Those who go in the neighborhoods, in the plain clothes, and they have rights of life and death over the people. They can cut your ears, they can do anything to you. And they were brutal. And so they combined the role of being snitches and the role of also political repression. And that explains why it took also so long for the struggle to overturn that aspect of neocolonialism. Yes, the Tonton Macoute. Yeah, next one. And with Tonton Macoute and Duvalier, the U.S. waged a bitter reign of terror and the counterinsurgency against all resistance fighters in Haiti. When Papa Doc died, he was succeeded by his son, Jean-Claude Baby Doc. That was in the 80s. Duvalier's father is gone, and that's his son. And he was forced to flee in 86. He fled to France. And the movements that mobilized the people to end the dictatorship of Duvalier's family was led by the priest, the father, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, who won the elections that took place at that time. The next one, please. And Aristide took his strength from the poorest section of African people. Cité Soleil is like the slums, the poorest, that's where the African working class reside, the poorest section, and that's where he grew up. That's where he gained its strength. He organized amongst the poor people. And we just have to say that people will say, when we say Aristide was not a revolutionary or a socialist, he basically believed that you can organize and solve the problems within the framework of neocolonialism. The only thing you need is democratic governments, honest governments, people of goodwill, something of that sort. But it was significant because he has his own power. He was not put there by the US president or by the French president. So he has his own independent power, independent relationship with the people that made him a legitimate force in the eyes of the people, also in the eyes of the people in the world, because he got his power from the people. And the U.S. hate that. It was not, as we said, it was not revolutionary. It was not calling for the workers to overthrow the petit bourgeoisie. It was not calling for the U.S. to be kicked out of Haiti. He just wanted to have good relationship, honest relationship with all the power. Just like Toussaint Louverture, he believed in that you can, have a good relationship with parasitic capitalism, which is impossible. So because of that, he had an independent power base. It was still a threat for U.S. imperialism because it means they cannot rely on him to implement the measures they want him to implement, anti-African people measures, loot the treasury, and implement privatization, all these measures that will worsen the conditions of living of our people. And the U.S. organized a coup against him, and they brought people like Raoul Cedric and all these thugs from the Haitian army, and they terrorized the people after the coup. Basically, it was the return of Tonton Macoute to all these forces who supported basically the oppression of the people. Next one. Of course, Haiti, in a long tradition of resistance, they responded as usual with magnificent, resistance. Never give up. Yes. Of course, this picture is after the earthquake. But from 92 until 2000, Haiti caught hell. That was under the leadership of Bill Clinton, or of the Clintons. Haiti, rice farming. One of the things the United States did to Haiti, not only they looted the Haiti resources, like the forests, huge part of the forest in Haiti has been, deforested. That's the U.S. Not only Haiti used to eat the rice they produce, they farm themselves. The U.S. forced them to consume rice from the United States. The U.S. forced them to consume pigs from the U.S. Haiti used to have their own pigs, to farm their own pigs. The United States forced them to import pigs from the United States, and those pigs in Haiti couldn't survive. Most of the time, they just died, and forced them then to import pigs and stuff like that from the U.S. And Haiti, Aristide was allowed to return in 2000, accompanied by UN troops. As you know, UN troops are basically troops in service of imperialism to maintain social order under imperialism. And remember this, there was an article in the Burning Spear. The poverty in Haiti was such that our people were forced to eat mud cake. This is a statement of parasitic capitalism. They looted Haiti, not yesterday, but they looted Haiti even today and leaving nothing for the people. When we create our own leadership, even it's no revolutionary leadership, but it's our own leadership. They remove it and impose all these murderers who kill people day and night. And so we can organize, in our own terms so we can solve our problems. So the people of Haiti rose up again in 2004. And what happened in 2004, Aristide, although we already say that, he won the first elections. So when he returned, they had another elections. He won it again. And this time, the French, the Canadians, and the US government organized together. They decided to kidnap Aristide and took him to Africa, to Central African Republic. And from there, they took him to South African Republic, and he stayed there until probably, I'm not sure, but he stayed there for maybe 10 years or something like that before he's allowed to return to Haiti. And this is the way that people from Haiti could not organize, because you need leadership, you need organization, and every time they try to move forward, the U.S. imperialism intervened. And that must be very clear. For those of us who might have some kind of illusion, particularly people talk a lot about the rule of law, things like that. The rule of law for imperialism means status quo. That's the rule of law. You heard the chairman often say slavery was legal, apartheid was illegal, Jim Crow was illegal, IMF and the World Bank, Everyone knows they're parasite. They are legals. They go in Africa, give you $1 and they say, we'll be back next month, take $12 for every dollar we give you. It's illegal. They take oil. It's illegal. If they fish around Africa day and night, everything they do is legal because they make the law. So, where I was? The U.S. corporate sweatshops. One of the things they transform Haiti into is cheap labor, where we just work. Whatever is being paid, that's not feed us. And you go remember that in most of the colonized countries, sometimes people go to work because they don't want to stay at home. But when they go to work, they are paid something that can't feed them. You can't live on $1 a day. Nobody can. But that's what they pay the workers in the place in Africa, Haiti, Bangladesh, and places like that. So you've got a lot of sweatshops in Haiti. Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse, T-shirt, Rollins, baseball equipment, Nikes, Levi's, many more. All these products, many of them were made in Haiti. And of course, people in Haiti, not only they didn't get paid, when they decided to run away from Haiti to come to the United States, they were called illegal immigrants. And they put them in a concentration camps. That's what they did. They did that for years. And they say they are in the search of a better life. So why are people came in Americas? They didn't come to catch hell in Americas. They came for a better life for themselves. So nobody else can do that. So those who survived the trip are put into U.S. immigration detention camps. And that's why you have, Africans from Haiti coming to the United States, going to Canada, and other places. In fact, they are in Brazil, they are Bahamas, and all those places. And this allows me to say this. Africans from Haiti are feared by the ruling class in the most part of America, particularly in the Caribbean. And usually it's hidden under the name of the skin. Like in Saint Domingo, which is the half of the island. Haiti is an island. So one part of the island is what they call Haiti, another part they call it Santo Domingo. Over there, Africans are oppressed because the other Africans there, they say Haiti are blacks, and they are not. Of course they are. But they oppress them. If you're too black, according to them, you must be from Haiti. Even if you're from Saint Domingo, if you're too black, you must be from Haiti. So they deport the Africans regularly because the manpower, the working class in Santo Domingo are the African, what they call Haitian. They are the ones who are the African working class. So they have to be maintained under constant terror so they don't organize and they don't raise the issue of overthrowing the African petty bourgeoisie there. And the same in the Bahamas and the other island, you will find discrimination of Africans from Haiti because everyone remembers the struggle, the revolutionary struggle of Haiti. And Haiti, basically, they are the people, I believe, because of the history of the Haitian Revolution, also because they're being scattered throughout the Caribbean island, they are more likely to be one to the struggle for African revolution as a struggle to free the African nation, because they cannot be respected or have what we call basic democratic right in Santo Domingo or Bahamas and other island. They are also in Brazil and all those places. And the only way they can have the democratic right respected is in the context of a struggle to free the African nation. And of course, these, throughout the 90s and the 2000s, we saw that almost every day on the television. And this is in opposition, the Africans or the refugees, so-called refugees coming from Cuba. They're fleeing a regime that's fighting oppression. But if you're from Cuba, you're a freedom fighter because Cuba, according to the United States, is the enemy for the U.S. So they'll give you, they'll grant you basically, what do you call them, residence status. But if you're from Haiti, you will not get that. And where was the outcry about Africans from Haiti locked up in the U.S. detention camps? You will not see that. Only if you're from Cuba, you will see that. Or if you're from any countries that the United States is in support of, if they're supporting some element inside that country, like in the case of Cuba. But if not, you will not get that. And these, in the Bible wise, these in the U.S., Guantanamo. Before I knew, I knew of Guantanamo because the Africans from Haiti were put there. I didn't know of Guantanamo because of the September 11th, but because the Africans from Haiti were put in Guantanamo and other places like that. African Cité Soleil, the poorest barrio in Haiti, did not receive food and water after the earthquake. You remember the earthquake? The earthquake united all Africans everywhere. I never seen that before. People in Senegal, people in Chad raised money. That's poor people in Senegal and Chad, other places in Africa raised money. We were giving flyers in London. People will come to us, Africans, they will come to us. What should they do? What can they do for Haiti? We had meetings, but as usual, when you do meetings, you go really have independent capacity. If you want to go somewhere, the African people bourgeoisie, they sabotage that. But immobilize Africans everywhere. What can we do? And this was a question then, it's a question today. It's similar to Katrina in New Orleans and other disasters happened to us throughout the world. And the United States, instead of doing like Cuba, sending aid relief, sending doctors, sending people who will be in solidarity with Africans in Haiti, the United States is not in solidarity with the African people. The United States is the oppressor. So they send troops. This propaganda. Everything the U.S. does, carrying bags, it could be the only bags they carry there. And for the U.S. Army, because we know we're catching hell in Haiti. So the United States don't go there to solve any problems. Not only they send troops there, Obama put Bill Clinton in charge of the oil operations in Haiti. And that was just outrageous, but that's what Obama did. And that was just 2 years after being in office, after, African nationalists and all these various forces were supporting Obama. That's kind of things he done. And a lot of money was raised, a lot of money. Billions were raised. And I remember people asking the Red Cross and other agencies in London, would you give this money directly to the people? And I was not surprised when the response started coming. They say no. The Red Cross director, remember very well, she said, we have our own process. They asked him a question, will you send all this money to Haiti? She replied, we have our own process. And that process meant that the money goes to them and they follow their own programs. And the programs hasn't ever been to be in solidarity for African Haiti. Remember, before the colonial earthquake struck in Haiti, Haiti was the country with the highest concentration of NGOs per square meter. If you take all the NGOs in the world and per square meter, Haiti had the highest concentration before the earthquake. Think now after the earthquake. How many all these parasites fled there? And the situation hasn't changed. As we're talking now, there isn't even the government in Haiti. Because the government that was put in place by the U.S. militarily, its mandate expired, it's hung on for 4 years. Now it can't hang on anymore. And they organize elections by any standard, even according to the most vile fraudsters. The election in Haiti in August 2015 was just not acceptable. Fraud was done openly, that they say you can't have it. Even the participant in the election, the two candidates, one of them say, no, I can't serve these elections. So they have no government. And you know who's the government? Imperialist is the government. The UN is in charge. You have UN over there, and the UN is made of different forces from Brazil, from Canada, from everybody, from Nepal. And the UN is a MITUSA, they call it, or MISUTA, the MISUTA mission for UN. they introduced cholera. You know there was no cholera in Haiti before? They introduced cholera in Haiti. Do you know there was no cholera in Africa? Until 1971, the British brought in there. Because we grew up in Africa, we just took it granted cholera is in Africa. No, there was no Africa. Africa was a clean place. There was no cholera there. The British brought it there. So by extension, they brought it also there through the troops from Nepal. They contaminated rivers, and then we use those rivers downstream. And thousands of people died. And up to now, they can't eradicate it because that was part of the plan, not to eradicate it, to introduce it. So it's part of the counterinsurgency, population control. U.S. wealth and capitalism built on stolen African labor in Haiti and the Americas. U.S. built on stolen land and genocide of indigenous people. And this is a part of the struggle we are involved in, is to get our people to understand the beginning, how things came to be as they are. And then how things as they are can be eradicated if we do this. So basically, the science of the end of capitalism. That's what African internationalism is. The science of explaining how capitalism came into being, also the science of eradicating it. And that's basically our job. And Haiti, as you know, is a critical place. The rich history, as we always said, if you know what you've done in the past, it's easy for you to do it again. If we shook the world then, and it is to shock it today. And today, Haiti cannot be isolated because we have access to each other. And what the ASR will do is not only organizing everywhere, but we in Africa from Haiti, all over the place, introduce Africans to the history of resistance in Haiti. And also, we in Haiti, African Haiti this time, is going to be the liberation of an African nation. Not just one place with an African nation, and using the experience of Haiti. This is the base for all the prosperity of the U.S. and Europe. I think we're putting to the end. U.S. and cooperation use earthquake to continue to exploit Haiti's soil, land, and resources. You know, they're talking about gold and oil in Haiti. One of the reasons the U.S. was able to jump there quickly, there might be oil there. And I believe that. If you look where Haiti is, look where Venezuela is, and the same land mass, basically. So it will make sense it's oil in Venezuela and possibly oil in Haiti. Clinton still has money for Haiti in his bank accounts. All the 10 billion that people raise around the world, much of it ended up in the pockets of Bill Clinton and probably Hillary too. This is why the only solution is the vision for the African Socialist International. One Africa, one nation, touch one, touch all. Wherever they are located around the world, Africans are one people, the total liberation of African people everywhere, and the leadership of African working class. Long live the African Revolution. Long live Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Long live the spirit of Toussaint Louverture. I like that slogan. Coupe tête, brûler casse. Brûler caille. Coupe tête, brûler caille. Coupe tête, cut the head off of the parasitic imperialists and burn all their houses, you know. Yeah, there we go, really good. That's Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Yes. He's the general. He's the one who wrote that constitution say white people can't own the land in Haiti. Yes, sir. What we do? Take questions straight away. Yeah. Less than 30 minutes. 29 minutes. Any questions or any observation or inputs? Yes, we're Kashama.
Wait. Somebody got the mic already.
Yeah. Yes.
Hurkabat
Yes,
Eskilusi. This was really, really powerful. And I unite with Chairman that we really have to make a book or even DVDs. You know, people don't find this kind of information anywhere else. Not even the African nationalist or can explain what really happened in Africa and explain our situation today. And that's because we meet a lot of African people who say, you know, we never fight back. They have this idea that, you know, we always had sellouts, so they don't want to do anything. So when people see this history of African resistance, that give you know, idea of that we can do it again. And the second thing I want to say is a lot of African nationalists, cultural nationalists, whatever they call themselves, have this argument that Haiti, the Haiti Revolution happened because they used African religions or voodoo. So can you explain a little bit about it?
You know, using ceremonies, that's one thing. You can use ceremonies. I don't know how the ceremonies were made, but I'm aware that ceremonies were made where people pledge allegiance, stuff like that. But you got to remember, Haiti was involved in warfare against the best army in Europe. And Toussaint Louverture and his generals, they spent years fighting against the French when they joined the Spanish army. And they also fought the British army. So much, not too much is said about the British in the north of Haiti, where the Toussaint ever fought them. And military warfare is not a matter of superstitions. You go know your strength, you go know your enemy, you go develop a strategy and tactics, how you're going to engage with them. And what you're looking at, when you look at Haiti, you're looking at the geniuses of those freedom fighters being able to develop a strategy that gives the people confidence. Then you went to attack, went to retreat. They have to organize what they call supply. You can't be in a war if you're having to manage your supply. And they organize all that, you know, where the supply will come from. They also anticipate that if the enemy comes, they should not have access to supply from this area. So they will neutralize all these areas, you know. So you've got separate things. Whatever rituals, ceremonies they did to, some of the ceremonies are also part of the mobilization, like speeches. Like the generals had to mobilize his troops, things like that. But there was no, because they're trying to say there was mysticism, mystical force was on their side. They use, no, you don't use mysticism against canon, stuff like that. When they say kill all the slave master poison, it's not mysticism. Somebody must take poison, get to the house, not to be seen, and put the poison and make sure, you know what they did? Those who refused to kill slave master, when they were given the mission, since you're given the mission, they'll kill you. Because you know. They kill you. So Dessalines, Makanda, kill people like that. And Dessalines also killed, you know, when they come from the mountains, they go to slave plantations. Those who refused to join the fight, many were killed. Because they believed if you're a slave, you must fight for freedom. If not, you're not worth anything. So there is no mysticism. They were really clear. And look at Toussaint Louverture. There is no mysticism. Because Toussaint Louverture is, according to Psalms, he had certain access to certain education. He could read and things like that. And he always was seduced by the French Universal Declaration of Rights, things like that he can negotiate with the French. But the French told him there was no mysticism. Don't get on our boat. If you go, you might not come back. But he didn't listen. He got on the boat, he was killed. There is no mysticism. And as you can see, when the United States and the French all came together, they imposed the blockade. There was no mysticism. They understood if we have no place to trade, not only they'll keep the blockade, but they will invade us. And this time, it couldn't just be French invasion. It could be U.S. combined with everyone who had a stake to maintain slavery will attack Haiti. So they discussed that. Okay, let's pay ransom. It's not that they surrender the will to be free, but they felt like they can't fight all of them together this time. So they agreed to pay ransom. So there is no voodoo mysticism like that, because the discussion, the fight, they put it this way. The masses need a better understanding. We need to draw lessons for our struggle so we know what are the strengths and the weaknesses. So we can take the strength and develop it, and the weakness, disregard anything that doesn't serve us, discard it, things like that. But when people talking to you about, we use, there is magical practices we can do, and nobody knows exactly what that is. That's confusion, because the people need to be strengthened. We are facing an enemy's armed to the teeth, determined to maintain slavery. And you've got no time to be getting into mystical stuff like this. There's no mysticism. If there was one, slavery should not have happened in the first place. And nobody used mysticism to stop it. So I don't really go into that. I don't know if my answer is satisfactory or not, but I don't really spend time into that voodoo kind of stuff. I don't believe there's a mystical kind of stuff. It doesn't exist.
Ooh,
Yes,
I saw a slide that was talking about kidnapping of African children in Haiti after the earthquake. And I kind of heard a little something about that some years ago, but I was wondering if you knew more about it and could go into more details.
About kidnapping.
The kidnapping and stealing of African children out of Haiti after the earthquake.
Oh, yeah, taking them to U.S. and other places. Yeah, there's something, it did happen, because you see, Africans are in a state of shock. Just think about it. 250,000 people dead in one go. 800,000 people injured. No housing, no clean water, people sleeping in the plain air, and no significant help, just propaganda. The US send this, the French send this, they're all happy that we live in those conditions. And the white opportunists, they know what the opportunity looks like. So they went there, all these NGOs, they approach Africans. Some of the children even don't know where their parents are because they're separated. So whoever was in charge in particular areas, it doesn't take that much to get people who just want to solve the problem now. Some people believe it's better you go out than stay here. And the white people use the money to drive their way in. They didn't go and say, let's rebuild Haiti, let's give you a better chance just here, let's fight for reparation, let's fight for the French resources stolen from you to come back. They didn't fight for that. But they went there on their own terms. So they can take children away from Haiti, took them to France, United States, Canada. It didn't happen, yeah. And there was no administration in Haiti to follow our things. It didn't happen. And what the situation of those Africans today, I really don't know. But it did happen, yeah. I read about that, yeah. It happened. And it happens everywhere where Africans are. How many NGOs are in Africa? We working with the. We went to Sierra Leone. I don't know if you remember that, but I talked to not far from where he used to live. I saw a compound, and I asked Isa, "What's that compound is?" It's always locked. You don't see inside. He said, "Oh, there's some white people there, and they don't talk to the neighborhood. We just see the cars going in, coming out. There are children there. Nobody in the neighborhood, in Sierra Leone, Freetown, knows exactly what's going on inside that massive compound. And these white people in the middle of Africa. And just imagine, it happens all over. Charles saw this. You've got airplanes landing in Sudan. The government has no control whatsoever. You've got airplanes landing in the Congo. Yeah. Whoever is in charge there doesn't even know who's landing there. And so they have access in a very serious way. It's not just Madonna, because Madonna wants publicity, and the other woman publicity. But you go other NGOs, they don't need publicity. France, something came to court because they didn't agree with who should have access to children. They go into Chad regularly, taking children, 60, 50, and they bring them to France, scatter them in different families. This case only came to court because they did not agree who should take the children. Africans didn't know that. It happens everywhere. African children are on the street everywhere. Senegal, they are on the street. Congo, on the street. Zambia, they are on the street. And the consequences are just terrible. I can't tell you. Particularly like for girls underage, it's catastrophic. That's why when we say the strike against imperialism, it's not a matter of sentiment or to be contemplating like the Pan-Africanists do, they're romanticizing it. There is nothing to romanticize about in Africa. It's chaos for the people. It's just nightmare for the people. So that's why we have to be serious and work hard to provide a viable alternative. and knowing who we are up against, the African petty bourgeoisie and imperialism. It's not a small thing. But with working for the people, yeah, we can do it.
Any other questions?
That's it. All right. Someone said more fire. Fire is gone. All right. Okay. Yes, sir. All right. Chairman, you want to sum up? No? Okay. All right. Who will come, comrades?
I think the only thing worth saying is to reiterate what Comrade Louisi mentioned, that Haiti cannot survive by itself. And both Africans around the world and Africans in Haiti need to be able to recognize our connection as involved in a single struggle. The difficulty we've had at different times in trying to unite with any kind of struggle that would happen in Haiti is that most of the leaders that we confront are leaders who do not understand the connection of Haiti in an organic kind of way with the African Revolution in general. They haven't had an opportunity because of the non-existence, generally speaking, of the African Revolution and African internationalist kind of movement. They might run into Pan-Africanists who are sympathetic, but most often they run into white leftists. If you have the people who can get into Haiti, missionaries, white groups, white organizations, I mean, we worked with John Juice.
Yeah, Saint Jean,
Juice. I mean, he was a priest. He was a religious guy, but he was anybody who wanted to unite, and in a relatively charitable way with that Haiti, what was happening in Haiti, they were able to do that. But in terms of seeing the revolutionary mission that's connected to Africa and African people, be a part of a worldwide African revolution. We've worked since then with Africans in Haiti, different mobilizations, events that we've had, but not in a way that would allow them to see themselves becoming a part of an African Socialist International. And that's a big problem because Haiti cannot be free by itself. And the only ones really with a stake in the liberation of Haiti are all those people who gave all the money in Senegal and other places when the earthquake happened. I mean, it's a natural response. So the African people worldwide are the ones who have a stake in what happens with our people there in Haiti, and the only organization that's in existence that's developing to connect all of this is the African Socialist International. And that's a critical question. Even when we were trying to raise money during the earthquake and what have you, to get to Haiti, who are we going to give it to? I mean, that was a real practical question. We had somebody going from Bahamas, trying to go from Bahamas. Who are we going to give the damn money to? Some NGO entity that's there, that's not going to help anything. We organized the first meaningful response. We organized right there in Miami, Florida, with Africans from Haiti under the banner of the Black is Back Coalition, a mobilization. This is in the face of the so-called earthquake disaster. The disaster wasn't an earthquake, the disaster was imperialism that had not allowed any kind of fucking infrastructure to be there. You've had earthquakes in other places that are serious, and sometimes people would die, but the extent of the murder, the death in Haiti had to do with imperialists continuously bleeding it. No infrastructure. The forest, it is deforested. Nothing so that the African people there can survive. So that was a problem that we have, and we have to build an African Socialist International. We're going to have to go into Haiti and build a revolutionary front in there. That's what's going to have to happen ultimately. Uhuru. Yeah.
We have information and propaganda in Creole. I know, we in the field we have, our platform of what we believe in Spanish as well.
Well, and sometimes Spanish, sometimes French, but no, we don't have it in Creole. No. no.
Because a lot of working class Haitian people don't really speak French like that. You know, they speak Creole. Oh.
Say your question in Creole. I'm a woman. More is for guys.
Yeah.
I was just raising my hand because I thought of that when I first got the spear. I think I've seen that there are a Spanish thing, but I actually spoken to Louise. My French isn't good, but my Creole is really good.
Oh.
And I can write Creole very
Oh,
well. So
okay.
if we need a translator,
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. Yeah. We need that, but we also need, even if you are fluent in Creole, we also need somebody who can copy it and proofread it. And that's a contradiction because we have French-speaking people, for example, with the little black book, quotations has been translated into French. Louise has held it now for several months. The thing that's holding up production is we don't have copy editors and proofreaders, French copy editors and proofreaders, so that's good. I mean, yeah, we need that. I think you should start, on that now. I think you should take the 14 points and what have you, and there are probably other documents. Then we're going to have to find a way to copy edit and have copy editors and proofreaders. Yeah. Because it's not even good enough for an individual to proof and copy her own stuff. You know what I mean? You can be good as hell, but because you always, the error you made is because you have an inclination to make that error. So even when you read it, you read the error, can read the error as being correct, yeah. So I think that's great. Also, we need to look at, I'm glad Fosia raised it, because not only should we do the books, but we ought to have the ability now to do a DVD of the presentations that Comrade Louise just made. To do DVDs of both those presentations. I think they might be, put them in a package or something. That's something that should be done right away. Agitprop? That's something that should be done urgently. Yeah.
Is that something we can do before we leave here?
Before what?
Before Kamat and we leave here?
Before we leave?
Then before he go back to London?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but I do believe that should be, and it should, because we get tired of saying we ought to do this and then nothing comes of it. There needs to be, a POA that needs to get done. I thought that was, those presentations are critical. The ones that Comrade Louise made today are critical pieces. And I think they should be done. Yeah. So were you going to say something? I mean,
Ooh, I hear you.
I like that.
Ooh, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. It's in the process of getting done. The POA will be.
At minimum, we should be able to do DVDs.
Yes.
That doesn't seem to me that's too hard to do. I mean, to get DVDs done, at minimum. Get the DVDs, get a package for them,
Ooh, I hear you. Yeah.
Anyway,
We'll be
I'm
working on
Mutepa. That's on my agenda. All right, we have to make that happen. We should be talking about it very seriously as soon as this is over. Yeah. Uhuru.
Uhuru. One Africa. One nation. One nation. One Africa. One Africa. One nation. One nation. One Africa. One Africa. One nation. One nation. One Africa. Uhuru. We'll now break for 15 minutes. Okay. So 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And we'll come back for our unit meeting.